Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session today on bypassing boundaries to build sustainable WASH financing. My name is Bekaa Water, and I will be moderating today's session. I am a senior advisor in the Water and Sustainable Cities practice of Chemonics, and today I have my esteemed colleagues from Lebanon to present on the USAID-funded Lebanon Community Support Program, a $100 million IDIQ contract performed by Chemonics. Our first speaker is Osama Ahmad, and he is a professional engineer and has been directing the wastewater management component of the project for the last 5 years. This component entails implementing wastewater infrastructure interventions, building the capacity of local partners to efficiently operate and maintain them, and ensuring their sustainability. The second presenter will be Carol Suwaidi, who is an environmental manager under the wastewater management component as well, and she's responsible for the rehabilitation of the Ayanti wastewater treatment plant and the upgrade of its sludge management system. I now turn it over to my colleagues for the presentation.
Thank you so much, Bekaa, for introduction. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Lebanon. We're here to present our experience with one of the infrastructure projects that we implemented under the Lebanon Community Support Program, which is USAID-funded IDIQ. It's a 7-year, $100 million, as Bekaa mentioned, and it has 5 components. The first one is the operation and management that provides the support for all the other components from communication, HR, accounting, finance. Sorry. The second is the community support component, which reaches out to communities under stress to provide viable solutions to pressing issues, and we'll go over 103 components that they introduced under this component. The third one is the technical assistance and the capacity building, providing support to all the other task orders in building the capacity for the communities and the recipients to sustain and operate and maintain and benefit from the improvements and that the project provides. Task order 4 is the workforce development. It's primarily a technical and vocational training component that helped develop that gap in education in Lebanon in particular, where there is strong higher education institutions and primary education, but missing the vocational aspect of it. And lastly, but not least, our program, which is the wastewater. As you'll see in the slide, the project was awarded back in 2018, just before the 2019 financial collapse in Lebanon. So the program had to adjust, pivot, adapt to the worsening country context that went through Lebanon, and we'll go over them in the next slide, where, for instance, Lebanon is hosting to one of the largest proportional refugee per population in the country, in the world. Like 50% of the populations are refugees, and since 2011, with the situation in Syria, followed by the financial collapse, there is a Beirut blast in the port that devastated neighborhoods in the city, resulting in major crippling of public service delivery, particularly water and wastewater, which deteriorated further in 2020. Also, the electric supply is sketchy, if at all, with blackouts till today, lasting 20 hours a day or more for many, many neighborhoods, which is a major problem for utilities, particularly water and wastewater. And the political stalemate with the current vacancy of the presidential level since 2022, and last but not least, since last October, the cross-border, along the southern border, the cross-firing between Israel and Lebanon since the Gaza situation flared back in October. So, in particular, the public water and wastewater service which is our partner, is suffering tremendously, particularly more like all the other public agencies, with 95% deterioration and devaluation of the currency. They're unable to provide adequate service for their constituents, and the tariff collection also, of course, suffered tremendously because of the devaluation, with being collected in local currency. And although they have in the law a mechanism to raise the tariffs every 3 months, they're cognizant of the poverty levels and the financial capabilities of the citizens, that they're not able to keep up with the expenditures. So just briefly to go over the components of the community support program, Task Order 2, which is a community support, has 103 projects distributed on many aspects of support to communities. And if you add all these that's listed, they're probably 112, but some of them are cross-cutting interventions, including solar energy, water service, improving access to electricity through generators, wastewater service through improving the collection system, and infrastructure projects, and waste management and recycling, and cash for work, particularly after the Beirut blast, where there was a lot of need to remove rubble and restore destructed facilities. So the third component, again, is the capacity building, and it spans, it supports all the activities under the IDIQ, Task Order 2, the one we just covered, and all the other ones that we've talked about. And it reached more than 3,000 people, trained them on new equipment, new facilities that were installed, new methods and best practices to do their work. There is also a support to the internships for university students to work within our program, the community support program, and many other USAID implementing partners projects across Lebanon, and increasing public awareness and holding meetings and town hall meetings to introduce new equipment, new support to the communities, and also developing a diaspora engagement mechanism. Lebanon is one of the diaspora, the Lebanese diaspora are, through history, spread out throughout the globe, and continue to have strong ties to the countries, and eager to support their communities through assistance, financial and in kind. And our program tapped into this aspect and delivered $346,000 through that program. And Task Order 4 is the TVET, the technical and vocational training, providing scholarships, developing curricula, in improving TVET institutions, and support employment of graduates. So that was filling a gap, as I said, in the educational system. Last but not least is our program, which is Task Order 5. Initially, it was, again, awarded back in 2019, just before the financial crisis. And it was initially to develop 4 wastewater facilities, turn them over to the regional water establishments, that their counterparts who would operate and maintain these facilities per their mandate, legal mandate, and to treat about 6,000 cubic meter of wastewater per day. That scope was shortly after award in 2020, was expanded with additional funding to implement 6 facilities and treat 12,000 gallons, cubic meter per day, increased the funding from 15 million to 22 million. However, with witnessing the crippling effects of the country context on our partner, the regional water establishment, it was evident that these facilities could not be operated and maintained sustainably after we're done due to the financial crisis. So along with, through collaboration with USAID, the scope was adjusted in September 22 to limit the implementation to the 3 already bid and awarded infrastructure projects, while diverting the remainder of the funds towards improving the sustainability and the financial viability of wastewater service to the extent possible. The three in particular, the ones that we're implementing, and to expand it to other facilities. So, with that, our team is composed of myself and 3 capable engineers. Ahmad Al-Khazin is the deputy director of the program, and Karol Suwaidi with me, and Mahmoud Farran are engineering managers that manages the construction, operation, and maintenance sustainability of the infrastructure we implement. In addition to Nusayman Jaim, who's the program coordinator, and she's also tasked with another aspect of Task Order 5 program, which is incentivizing the private sector to mitigate their industrial wastewater treatment plant, or wastewater treatment pollution, through providing them with incentive rebate, partial rebate for installing industrial wastewater treatment. So this is the performance criteria that we have to meet, which already met basically as we speak, mitigating 12,000 cubic meter per day, 1 municipal wastewater, we have 3 of them, 1 industrial intervention, and we're engaged, 2 of them already installed, as we'll see, and engaged with 7 others under consideration. And to have one of the interventions along the Litani River, which is the main river in Lebanon, and the case study that we'll share with you shortly is actually on the Litani River, that Karol will expand on it. Again, the infrastructure track has to install 3 projects, and 2 of them has already been operating and performing, while the 3rd one expected to go online in early 2025. And the investment track, we provide 80% rebate up to $45,000 for any industry that meets, that's legal, that's licensed, and that meets the that installs wastewater equipment and to treat its industrial discharge in compliance with the applicable laws. 2 of them already implemented, while we continue to work with 7 other industries. And this is a map of Lebanon. Lebanon is only 10,500 square meters, like 200 kilometers from north to south, and maybe 50 or less east to west. And the 3 pictures shows the 3 infrastructure projects. The 2 at the bottom are the ones that's completed. The one on the left is the Meria pumping station that pumps 6,880 cubic meter per day to a treatment plant. While the one on the bottom right is Aitanit wastewater treatment plant. That's the case study for this talk. And the one that's coming up is the picture up on the top right, which is Pshali wastewater treatment plant. That's due to go online in January 2025. We're also engaging in solar farms to support Pshali that we're starting next week, and another one to support the treatment plant that receives the flow from the pumping station in Meria, the one on the bottom left. And again, to increase the sustainability of our facilities, to reduce the energy cost for operation and maintenance. Aitanit, the one on the bottom right, has already solar farm. And these are critical under the current spotty electric supply in Lebanon. And the rest of the dots are the industrial applications that we're engaged with. With that, I'll turn it to Carol to talk about Aitanit wastewater treatment plant intervention in particular, and the implementation of the improvements we did over there. Carol?
Thank you, Osama. Hi, everyone. I'm Carol Suwaidi, one of the 2 engineering managers on the wastewater management task order. I have the opportunity to serve as the project engineer on the Aitanit wastewater treatment plant intervention. To begin, Aitanit wastewater treatment plant intervention is a handful of approximately 45 treatment plants in Lebanon that remains operational, despite the crises and multifaceted challenges faced by the country. This plant plays a crucial role in enhancing the environmental condition to the local community there, as it discharges directly into the Litani River. The Litani River is a main river in Lebanon with a major focus on efforts to clean it up due to its use in agriculture. Why we chose or why we selected the Aitanit wastewater treatment plant under our program, it's for many critical challenges. First, the plant operation was hindered by the large accumulation of sludge. This sludge was only dried during summer, limiting the treatment capacity of the plant and causing pollution to the environment along with noxious odors. In addition, the supernatant rich in ammonia was overflowing to the Litani River, contributing significantly to its pollution. Last but not least, many components on the solid and the liquid processing line needed repair or replacement. So to tackle all of these issues, we had first to rehabilitate the solid and liquid processing line and upgrade the sludge management in the plant. Addressing these challenges was essential for the plant's efficient operation and also to prevent pollution and reduce contamination in the Litani River. As you can see from the map to the right, the wastewater treatment plant in Aitanit is located directly downstream the Karaon lake, which is also used in agriculture. Aitanit treatment plant treats the wastewater benefiting around 23,700 individuals across 4 municipalities, Mashghara, Ba'loul, and Aitanit. As I mentioned before, and to reiterate, this project played a crucial role in significantly reducing environmental pollution, which is essential for public health and ecological balance. To have an overview on the historical development and key milestones of the project, first, this plant was built through a USAID fund back in 2009 to treat 5,000 cubic meters of wastewater per day. However, the Bekaa Water Establishment was unable to operate, leading the Karaon Union, including the 4 benefited municipalities mentioned in the previous slide, to take over the operation of this plant. In 2020, and due to the deteriorating condition that was faced by Lebanon and the lack of resources, pushed us as CSP to select this project for rehabilitation and upgrade. In 2021, the design was completed, paving the way for the construction to take place and be completed in September. We celebrated this key milestone by a ribbon cutting ceremony in September 14, 2023. CSP also provided a full training for the technicians of Bekaa Water Establishment and the union on troubleshooting, equipment repair. It was a comprehensive training, including also equipment repair based on the industry best practices and highest safety standards. Currently, in Task Order 5, we are managing the operation and maintenance of this plant under a 1-year operation and maintenance contract, and we are also developing a public-public partnership to ensure the plant's sustainability. This will be discussed in detail later in this presentation. So, to give you a brief description of what exactly we did at the plant, first, the USAID fund to rehabilitate and upgrade the sludge in this plant was approximately $1.5 million. What we did is that we had several interventions at each of the treatment stages. We have repaired pumps, we have repaired some pumps at the trickling filter, replaced pump at the influent station, also in the digesters. We also constructed a 2-story building to house 2 combined units for sludge thickening and dewatering, along with the polymer unit, the sludge tanks, and all the pumps and needed accessories. We also housed a lab inside of this building so that all tests that can be done in-house are done in-house effectively. We also covered one of the 6 drying beds, and now that we have a reduced sludge volume by 95%, all the sludge can fit under 1 drying bed, which we covered with a steel roof to further also reduce the sludge volume. This is a technical overview of the treatment process at the plant, which consists of both primary and secondary treatment. We made significant improvement at each of these stages, as we mentioned before. The highlighted the 2 components down in the sketch emphasize on the 2 components that we added to the process. So our intervention here consisted of rehabilitating and repairing the underperforming components and adding the 2 highlighted components to the treatment process. We added here several pictures. In the first row, you can see the progress of work from excavation to final touches, finishing touches in the plant. Down in the second row, you can see the installation of the 2 combined units for the dewatering and thickening of the sludge. Here in the first row, you can see the steel structure roof we installed at one of the drying beds. And down below, you can see the new procured influent pumps. This is the final, last but not least, the light color or the clear colored effluent we now get from the treatment. It clearly demonstrates significant improvement in the effluent quality. Now I'll turn it back to Osama to continue with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Now, as you saw in the prior picture, the clear effluent from this plant that really there's about 45, 50 wastewater treatment plants in the country. Less than a handful is currently operating, unfortunately, primarily due to power issues. And this is one of very few that meets the environmental regulation of discharging treated effluent to the environment. So to make sure this continues, we were tasked, as you recall, in the modification to our contract by USAID to ensure sustainability of this facility. And for that end, as you see in the picture, we're conducting training to the technicians who are tasked with operating and maintaining these facilities. We're building the capacity of the Bekaa Water Establishment, the utility that have the legal jurisdiction over this facility and the whole Bekaa region, the valley and the eastern side of the country. And we developed the public-public partnership agreement because the Bekaa Water Establishment were not able, since inception, to operate and maintain this facility. That's why the Union of Municipalities stepped in back in 2009 and start operating it. And we're developing this agreement to organize, legalize, institutionalize this relationship and to cooperate and hopefully eventually achieve the sustainability and financial viability of this facility. So the agreement was, this is the history of operating the facility, operation and maintenance of this facility. As we said briefly, started in 2009 by the benefiting municipalities, and our intervention with the rehabilitation and upgrade and the capacity building of technicians from the Union of the benefiting municipalities, and we engaged the water establishment as well with our capacity building. We're currently operating and maintaining the facility on our own and through a private operator, mandated with involving and training on providing on-the-job training of the technicians from the Union of Benefiting Municipalities within his staff to get them trained on best practices for operation and maintenance. And to ensure financial viability, we developed the public-public partnership between the benefiting municipalities and the water establishment that we will go over it in the next slides. So the regulations in Lebanon started back in 2000. Initially, before then, there were 21 utilities, small communities in the country, for cities, union of municipalities, of villages that were tasked with, that were created to provide water, wastewater service by their own communities. There were no clear roles and responsibilities. Regulations weren't yet fully developed, and there's many small communities that dug wells for drinking water without any legal oversight. So back in 2000, they passed a law number 221, which created 4 regional water establishments, basically. It consolidated all these utilities into 4 regions in the north, Lebanon, South Lebanon, Beirut and Mount Lebanon, and Bekaa Valley on the east. So part of the creation of these water establishments is to provide water and wastewater service for their customers, to have accounts, hook up for the beneficiaries, set tariffs, collect and operate and maintain. In addition, however, with the many problems facing this country since 2000s and even before, these water establishments struggled to perform their functions. Their priority has been for the water because it's more vital for their customers. However, the wastewater were kind of placed at second priority. And that prompted a lot of local beneficiaries to operate their wastewater facilities. There was also other donor-funded wastewater facilities that the donors continue to operate and maintain. The law was amended back in 2018 to allow for what we to allow for public-public partnership, to allow to delegate the operation and maintenance of water, wastewater facilities to the local beneficiaries. And our example here is the first being done in the country for wastewater. So the problem is lack of financial resources to sustain the equipment. This is particularly in light of the very low tariffs that were set even before the financial collapse. It was like $120 per year per hookup or per account, which is hardly enough to operate and maintain all the water and wastewater facilities in that region. And the other problem is the collection rate. It's very low. The hookup rates are also low. With the financial collapse, the tariffs has been gradually increased with major consideration to the increased poverty levels of the citizens in the country. And in 2019 it was $180 per year. Currently it's barely 112, and this is primarily because it's collected in local currency, and the rate increases are not keeping up with the severe devaluation of the currency. So what we try to do is develop this agreement, which is to address this issue. It has many components. It puts the responsibility or delegates responsibility for operating and maintaining to the benefiting communities who are eager to see their environment clean, their wastewater is not polluting their water resources, it's operating well without odors or pests and vector attraction. And so we tapped into this willingness by the community in Aitanit to do so, and engaged an expert in municipal law and engaged with discussions with the water establishments, with the benefiting utilities, to introduce this agreement and get buy-in from all parties, not only at the benefiting municipality level, but also at the water establishment and the oversight and the Ministry of Energy and Water that has an oversight on all water issues in the country and the water establishments. So the parties involved in the agreement are the Bekaa Water Establishment, that's legally mandated with operating and maintaining in the facility, with the 4 benefiting municipalities, with the union of 14 municipalities that these 4 are part of it, because the union provides like a cross-cutting services for small villages. It's a very efficient mechanism in Lebanon to consolidate small villages that are close to each other geographically to provide economy of scale service like trash collection, and for this particular reason, instance is the operation and maintenance of wastewater facilities that concerns 4 of these villages, and of course the financial burden for the operation and maintenance within the union falls only on these 4. It's not the other villages or municipalities don't have financial obligation for this purpose. And the purpose is to collect the tariffs from these 4 villages and to operate the facilities. And the agreement is drafted for 1 year. That's renewable unless any of the parties wants to stop it. And this gives the water establishment the right and the mechanism, once it builds its capacity and financial situation, to be able to perform these duties, to take it back as the law initially was set for it to do. So what's the obligation under the agreement for each party? The Bekaa Water Establishment has the duty to set the tariff, and they can adjust these tariffs every 3 months. But realistically, the tariff setting across the country is at the Prime Minister's or the Council of Ministers level. The water establishments lobby and request increases, but that decision has to be endorsed at the highest level. And primarily because of concern for the ability of the citizens to be able to pay under the current financial crisis in the country, and in recognition of their financial under resources. Under this agreement, the water establishment will provide the benefiting municipality with a list of their subscribers, and typically these lists are outdated. They don't keep up with change ownerships, increase, more stories on a certain building with no more tenants, passing of old owners and new heirs, which the record does not update, and it's to issue the bills and the new owners. They issue the water and wastewater bills. Part of the mechanism for collecting the tariffs is to have incentives for the collectors. The more they collect, the more they get fees for collection. And the whole objective of this agreement is to dedicate a revenue stream for the operation and maintenance of the wastewater treatment plants. The responsibilities of the 4 benefiting municipalities are to measure the water quantities and quality and report to Bekaa Water Establishment to ensure that The water quantities are billed in according to the pumpage flow from the Bekaa Water Establishment. Update the subscription lists in their villages. Now, these villages have very precise records of property rights and property taxes, so they can update the subscription lists per the updated property tax records that they have, and hence correct the subscription lists for the Bekaa Water Establishment with the current situation in their villages, and perform the collection on behalf of the Bekaa Water Establishment of the tariff. Since they collect the taxes for the property, they can collect the water and wastewater bills as well, and conduct public awareness campaigns to increase, the subscription. They can identify properties that are hooked up without an account, for instance, and go after them, or to ensure that they have an account with the Bekaa Water Establishment. They receive the bills are generated and they collect them. And the Union of Lake Karaon, which the 4 benefiting municipalities are part of it, will perform the actual operation and maintenance. There will be a joint supervisory committee from the 3 parties in the agreement: the establishment, the benefiting municipalities, and the union, to procure supplies, operate and maintain, and submit details and compliance record. Since they're receiving the steady stream from part of the collected fees. So the financial agreement calls for the municipalities would receive fees for collecting the water and wastewater bills, because even without this agreement, the regional water establishment in Lebanon sub out the collection rate to collectors, and there is an incentive for these collectors to collect, to outreach and collect all the bills that's given to them. So this will apply also to the municipalities, and for instance, if they collect 70% of the bills issued by the Bekaa Water Establishment and more, 4% of the collected rate will go to the municipalities to cover their effort in collection. And if they collect any delinquent bills, 10% of the delinquent payment will go to the collecting municipalities. But the biggest portion of the collection rate, which is amounts to 70% of the revenue collected, goes to the operation and maintenance of the facility that's being performed by the Union of Municipalities. So that's the agreement. It got all the endorsements from all the concerned parties, and it's being finalized and will be implemented in the next month or so. It will. It has the potential to be scaled up to other similar locations in Lebanon. Increases the efficiency of the, what we did with the sludge management by instead of drying it liquid on drying bed, we thicken it, dewater it, and hold it under roof so rain does not dewatering back, and the dryness will continue to stabilize that sludge to be hopefully once the codes and regulations are promulgated for beneficial reuse because it is actually anaerobically digested in the treatment plant. And the legal agreement that we developed can also serve to sustain treatment plants that's currently idle. The lesson learned, the coordination between utilities and stakeholders and the agreement between all the parties, the training we provided, and the taking advantage of the flexibility and the legal framework to organize the legal relationships between local and regional public institutions are critical to sustaining wastewater facilities and public service, water service. The collected, the plans for sustainability, that collection, the revenue collected will be adequate to support the operating and to build up for capital improvements in the future. The community will be more aware of the financial obligation, the performance of the facility to protect their environment, and the tariff collection rates and the tariff settings will definitely need to continue to be improved for the water sector in Lebanon to achieve financial viability on the long run. So, looking in the future, we hope and pray that the currency stabilization will actually get improved. The inflationary pressure eased since February 23. It's kind of pegged at 95% of what it used to be back in 2019. There is, of course, heightened urgency to resolve the financial situation here and address the depositors, bank depositors' concerns and wealth that has eroded tremendously. Solar energy in Lebanon is abundant, and we took advantage of that to sustain our facilities that we implement, and that's being done across the country. The electric supply in the country is crucial for all aspects of life here, because it's extremely difficult and expensive to maintain water and wastewater facilities unless you have reliable and affordable water supply. While the regional water establishments continue to evolve and develop their financial and technical skills to assume their full mandated responsibility. With that, Carol would like to share with you a video on Aitanit in particular to show you the improvement that we did and the project overall. Carol?
مياه الصرف الصحي اللي هي ما عم تتم معالجتها هي من أخطر الأمور على البيئة اليوم، وتحديدا لأنها بتأثر على المياه الجوفية وعلى مياه الشرب، وهي المسبب الأول والكبير بتلوث مياه الجوفية والآبار والأنهار وحتى وصولا للبحر. مش حرام لبنان هالبلد يلي نحن بنتغنى بجماله وببيئته وبنعتبره هو مصدر سياحة لكل العالم، نوصل لمرحلة توصل الصرف الصحي تهدد صحة الإنسان وبيئته؟ وبظل هالأزمة الاقتصادية اللي حاصلة يلي زادت علينا، كان هي سبب انه نحن مش قادرين نأمن موارد لصيانة وتطوير البنى التحتية بمحطات الصرف الصحي. لحل هالمشكلة لبنان بحاجة لاستثمارات كبيرة وخارجية لنقدر نعمل تطوير لمحطات الصرف الصحي، مش بس بعيتانيت، على كافة الأراضي اللبنانية. محطة عيتانيت هي أول محطة انبنت بالبقاع لتكرير الصرف الصحي من قبل اليو اس ايد عام 2007، وانعملت لتخدم بحدود 5000 متر مكعب يوميا.
محطة تكرير المياه المبتذلة بعيتانيث هي شريان حيوي للقرى المحيطة فيها. هي بتخدم 4 قرى: القرعون، بعلول، عيتانيث، ومشغرة. نتيجة الأزمات المتراكمة على لبنان، واجهت المحطة عدة تحديات، وأهمها إدارة الحمأة والصيانة. الحمأة هي المخلفات الصلبة الناتجة عن عملية المعالجة. عملية معالجة الحمأة كانت تتم عبر برك ترسيب يكون لها منفعتها في فصل الصيف، أما نواجه مشاكل كبيرة في وسط الشتاء. بدعم $1,000,000 من الوكالة الأمريكية للتنمية الدولية عبر برنامج دعم المجتمع المحلي CSP، وبالتعاون مع مصلحة مياه البقاع واتحاد بلديات البحيرة، قامت اليو اس ايد بداية 2022 بتأهيل كافة أقسام المحطة وتركيب مضخات جديدة، وأنشأت مبنى جديد لإدارة معالجة الحمأة، بالإضافة إلى مختبر جديد تم تجهيزه بكافة المعدات اللازمة. لحماية الحمأة المجففة من الأمطار والفيضانات، تم بناء هنجار جديد لتخزين الحمأة.
من خلال برنامج CSP ولاستدامة هيدا المشروع عم بتدربنا يو اس ايد نحن كعاملين في محطة معالجة مياه الصرف الصحي مع موظفين من مؤسسة مياه البقاع على أفضل ممارسات إدارة النفايات الناتجة عن طريق المعالجة، وحسن تشغيل وصيانة معدات المحطة والمختبر بطريقة آمنة.
التحول الكبير بعد إنجاز المشروع المهم في محطة تكرير المياه المبتذلة في عيتانيث أدى إلى المساهمة في رفع التلوث عن مجرى نهر الليطاني وبحيرة القرعون.
التعاون اللي صار بين يو اس ايد واتحاد بلديات البحيرة ومؤسسة مياه البقاع والمجتمعات المحلية هو شهادة على الاستثمار المستدام لمستقبل لبنان.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carol and Osama, for that great presentation. We'll take the next 7 minutes to go over any questions that the audience may have. You can put your questions in the chat. And let's see. If anybody has any questions.
We must have been very clear.
I know. Yes. It's a great presentation. Okay. Oh, we just have people saying it was clear. Thanks for the presentation. Kudos to you all for your hard work. Let's see. I guess you guys were very clear.
Yeah. Although it's wastewater, but we clear it.
Yes. Yes, you did. Well, we definitely look forward to seeing the end results and the sustainability of the project, and then also hopefully the scaling up to other areas in Lebanon as well.
We hope so. That's the goal. I mean, that's with three projects implemented by USAID, it was meant to be scaled up and to be emulated and spread out as models for other similar projects for sustainability in this country. So we do hope that this will happen. The legal framework allows it. We took advantage of that and organized contracts that's compliant with the legal mandates to sustain the facility, and that's a major accomplishment to be followed across the country.
Thank you so much, Osama and Carol. And with that, we will conclude today's session. We hope that the rest of you have a great rest of the World Water Week and enjoy the networking and the presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you.